Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hey, long time no see anyone. Okay, actually today today's episode is to actually cover up the clan, the pro and cons for today, and let's see how I'm going to let you guys know on the pro and cons. So first off, we will be going to Royal Paladins. So normally I will go straight to the grid trees first because they are the most important key card of all in your deck, right? So this account is actually an account of mine and is already at rank 31. I'm still progressing to go further. So yeah, right. So not waste our time, so let's go. So the first card is King of Knight Alfred. It's basically a card where it costs a grade 2 or less throughout your deck with 3 counter blasts, whether he is in Vanguard position or Rearguard position. Downside of this card is when he is in your Vanguard, he can't be boosted. But the good part is every single Rearguard you have, it gains 2000 power for each Rearguards you have, right? So basically it's a free boost of 10,000 because you will eventually have 5 rearguards throughout the game unless you are short of hand and also your counter blast not enough, and that's where you lack of resources, and this card will be the downside. And then we will go on with Soul Saver Dragon. Soul Saver Dragon is actually a good card for uh, early push or maybe a final push, because all you need to do is just Soul Blast 4. You have your 3 rear guards, gains 5k until end of turn. So you have a stand trigger, you can stand it back, you gain another 5k from there. So yeah, it's actually a free 15k just with a Soul Blast 4. It's not really heavy, but it will only use one time unless your deck are fully on soul charges. It's fine with you guys, but if you do not have those mechanisms, Soul Blast 4 one turn, you need to end it, or just waste your rear guards there, play with stand trigger. This is a good deck to go to. Let's move on to Solitary Knight Gancelot. Practically, I don't really like or play Gancelot, but Gancelot in early game, if you have him in your hand, Blaster Blade will be there for you. This is good to, basically for me, I only use, if I were to have Gancelot, I will only use it to search out my Blaster Blade. Other than that, riding him in grade 3 really a downside of it, because 9,000 power in grade 3s, you can't last long, because in any grade 2s, if they are playing a minimum of 9k power, your Vanguard is the one they will be targeting. So for this card, normally if can, I just play 2 pieces of it inside the deck just to search out Blaster Blade. If you have no choice, you have to ride it, and then if you get another grade 3, just ride it on top of him, because it doesn't worth the defense. And also counter blasting 2, getting a 5k plus 1 crit, this will be a downside as well, because right now there are most of the cards are running at 11k for grade 3s if they have 11k, and then if they were to have a cross strike, it will be 13k. So adding a 5k there with 1 crit doesn't really matter the most. That's based on my opinion. So the next card is Alfred Early. Alfred Early is actually a good card if you are lack of rear guards. If you have right Blaster Blade, Alfred Early is good to go. You just ride it off, a free rear guard with grade 2, which can intercept. And also, actually being intercept is that your opponent will need to hit your grade 2 first, and whenever it calls Blaster Blade from the soul, it's actually eventually you can use the counter blast to retire your opponent. Later I'm going to go down to it and I will explain more with the mechanism right there. So we have Palamedes. It's just like Manila. Vanilla cards is if you have 2 or more grade 3s, you gain 3k. So if I were to be you guys, I will show you guys what lineup would be the best. So this one are all commons. You just review grade 3 gains 5k. This for the main phase, this one just soul charge plus 2k. When this unit attack hits, you soul plus 6, counter plus 4, which is very heavy to retire all your opponent's regards. The skills are good, but to me, your resources are limited. So I don't really want to use my counter blast 4, save my counter blast 4 and a soul blast 6 just to use Lohengrin skill. So it's quite waste. I'd rather to go for the early game push and end up with a good higher power. So another card that works well in Royal Paladin is Gamor, the Fang of Life Gamor. There's another one card that is coming out, I think pretty soon. It'll be a very good card as well. And for now, I'm gonna cover what is already been released in Vanguard Zero English edition. So for this card, during your turn, for each snuggle you have and Broger you have, you gain 1k. So if you have a rear guard of 5, you will gain 5k. But what's good for this Garmo is that all your snuggle and Broger gets to intercept. And whenever you place this card, discard a card from your hand, just call a snuggle from your deck. Eventually this card, you can use it in rearguard and vanguard all over the world, all along the way. If it's in a vanguard, good, because you get a free grade 1 intercept. But if it's in the rearguard, you just call up a free booster or free attacker, right? So let's say I have Gamo in my vanguard, I have another 2 more Gamo in my hand. I summon out Gamo twice in my rearguard and I gain 2 snuggle, or either snuggle and Brugger or 2 Bruggers. So that's way actually this card to set it up to save your hand for the next turn, right? So this card is actually very well played. Also it's a very good card to be in your deck, but this does not work well with certain other cards which in the grade 3s, which is highly recommended. So yeah, move on. Galahad is actually a good card, but most of the people really look down on this card. And to be honest, previously when I played card games, when I faced Galahad, I did lost a game. So yeah, this card is actually, if you know how to use it, the power is great. So if you have a soul of 6 or more cards, counter blast 2, get 3k 1 crit until end of turn. It's very easy to get 6 or more cards in your soul, and later on I'm going to show you why I said that. So just stay tuned for it. And the new card has just released, which is Magister Lord Blaster. Eventually this card is a dark and light, so-called yin yang type of card, where you need Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark in your soul to gain another 2k, which will make him standing alone 12k if both of it is in his soul, right? But do not afraid, because Blaster Dark is playable in Royal Paladin, and I will show you guys later on why the card can be put in Royal Paladin. I'm gonna let you guys know later on. So when this card attacks Blaster Dark and Blaster Dark, you put it in there and he gains another 10,000, and also his crit will becomes 2. So there's no counter blast. It's just that you need to sacrifice 2 of your rear guards to make him a 20k and 2 crit card, a Vanguard, right? So it's only workable in Vanguard position, it doesn't go on rear guard. Okay, so basically if you want to play this card, all you need to do is just attack with your Blaster Blade, attack with your Blaster Dart, and go all in with your Majesty Lock Blaster. Alright, so I think that is the main focus that I'm going to focus on for the grade 3s. For those, these cards are actually the good ones that I would like you all to know. So if you want to go on the grade 3s, you can go on with 4 Majesty Lock Blasters, 2 Alfreds, this Alfred, King of Knight Alfred. You can go for 2 Alfred early, so total of 8 cards right there. Because you can play 13 cards, yep. So you can go in another 2 more Ganslot and 3 Saver, or either you can play 2 Saver, 1 Garmor. But if you want to play Garmor, you're very limited with your grade 1s, so practically I will not do that. So let's go on grade 2. So grade 2 normally the cards that I'm going to recommend is the Blaster Blade. Blaster Blades, when you reach when you summon it to the Vanguard, you ride it on the Vanguard, or you put it on the rear guard, you just counterblast 2, just retire 1 opponent grade 2 or higher rear guards. Later I'm going to show you guys that I still prefer Blaster Dark in the team as well, because these two work along based on what is required for your situation, right? So for High Dot Breeder Arcane, this one is playable with Saver, Soul Saver Dragon, because it needs a card to get him out easily to your hand. So basically, Hybrid Arcane is your summoning for High Beast. So you have other cards, and I don't really recommend that, but for Tristan, it's up to you guys whether you want to play it for the second attacker after your Vanguard, or either way. If you reveal a grade 3, you gain 5k, that's good, but if not, it's bad. Okay, so next up, this card Garmor is to play with Garmor. Is actually like a cross riding or a chain ride, but for certain cards they chain rides along the way, but for this card you don't really rely on the chain rides. All you need to do, if you have the card, you ride it. If you don't have, you don't need to ride it. The downside of this card is having a 8k power is really low, but it's good when you play in a proper way in attacking the opponent. So Galahad, like I said, if you know how to play the card, this is the good card. So this is actually the chain ride. If this is when this card wrote upon Knight of Godly Speed Galahad, meaning the grade 3s, you can soul charge 2. At start of your right phase, you search 5 cards. On top of your deck, just write the Speed Galahad if you have it. So basically, you don't need to waste your hand to write your Vanguard if you find Galahad in the top 5. If you don't, you need to waste a card in hand. So practically, this is actually a hand-saving technique to eventually makes your team or your hand or your next phase attacking more secured, and also what you say, there's risk-free of intercepting for your next turn. So this for chain rides are really good if you know how to control it. If it doesn't work well, things will go quite bad if your opponent has a better cards in their hand. So we have Medieval. If your Vanguard is a blaster, you gain another 3000, so you have 12,000 attacker if your Vanguard is a blaster. So like I said, your ace normally will be Majesty Lock Blaster if you're going to play that deck, but they must be in your deck because he will constantly hit 12k all time, because you won't ride other than Majesty Lock Blaster unless you go in the Soul Saver. It hardly goes through there. And if you are playing that, please do play star called Trumpeter as well, because you just counterblast to get your grade 2 or your blasters from your deck. Right, just call it out, which eventually helps you as well. But if let's say it's early game, you already reach 4 counterblast, you just use this counterblast to get another blaster and blaster blade, or either blaster dark, counterblast 2 again, retire one of your opponents. This is a sweet combo but high cost, so practically it's very high cost, so it's up to you guys to play it or not. So this is we're going to grade 1s right now. We are looking at Assault, a Sentinel, which is a perfect guard, where if you have 4 HP left and your opponent gets 1 critical, as you can nullify it with your now guards, right? But it doesn't really works like what it does in previous days, where you just discard a card from your hand, nullify any damage you want on any turn or any time. It's up to you. But right now they have changed it that you don't need to discard any cards from your hand, but it will only activate when the conditions are met. Meaning to say, if double crits, 3 damage, you're 3 HP, now guards will nullify it. If you left 2 HP, means 2 damage counters left to end the game, they get 1 crit nullified. If you have 5 damage, normal hit, it will nullify as well. It doesn't matter the attacks comes from whom, rear guard or vanguard, it will still nullify it. Okay, so next up I'm gonna say about Pungal, where this card you just counterblast 1, put it inside your soul, get the Soul Saver Dragon from your deck to your hand. So Pungal is a good card if you are playing a Soul Saver Dragon, if that is your main card. This card you can play, it works well, and it will do up your soul, where you need to use Soul Blast 4 to gain 15k. This card is useful. So next, Pegasus Knight is meant to play with Majesty Lock Blaster, because you're putting in actually this card, if you put something to your soul, is actually going to Soul Saver again. Pongal going in. I'm sorry just now that I give you the wrong informations, but this is the main phase before the attacking phase. So Majesty Lock Blaster is during the attacking phase, so it doesn't add the 3000 to this unit. But it's good to play with Soul Saver Dragons, because all is going in before the attacks, right? So next up we have Wingull. You boost Blaster Blade, gain 3000, good, but only early stage. This one is boosting Alfred, it's good to go. Pongal, 2 or more grade 3s, gain 3Ks. And this is the Galahad, the chain rides. When you ride upon the grade 0s, still the same grade 0s, early game, you're going to search 5 cards, get Galahad, ride on it. Grade 1, your main phase, look to 5 cards, get the grade 2s to ride on it. It's very luck dependent on your top 5. So as for Snoggle, where I said Gamo is playable with this deck, that all of the Snoggles will get additional 1k for your each of your Snoggle and your Brugger in your rear guards, right? So this one, power boost, and also can intercept if your Vanguard is a Gamo. Good to play, worth to play, and good to go. So for grade 2s, we have Bedivere. Grade 1, we have K. Still the same thing, Vanguard's Blaster gains 3k. But grade 1s are only workable when he is the front row. Meaning to say, the rear guard's attacker. So let's go to our starters. We have Barker. This card, if you were to play high hopes, you're scared of Grip Locks, all you need to do is play Barker, play Future Knight Liu, and Flogel. The moment Barker hits your rear guard, rest him, get Liu. The next turn you rest it, get Flogger, you will get to the Blaster Blade. So it's like something like a superior right sort of things. I will show you right a bit. So Winger Brave, whenever the attacks by a blaster, this unit boost hits, counter blast 1, put it into your soul and add a blaster from your deck to your hand. This Winger Brave is playable good if you play with Majesty Lock Blaster, because you need to search Blaster Dark or Blaster Blade to your hand for the next turn of riding Blaster, Majesty Lock Blaster, to combine both of it into your soul. This one for Brugger is only for Gamo, so practically I don't really want to play Brugger as a starter. I just go on with Snogger. It's workable. That's it. That is the good thing. So this is the Drungle for Galahad. Laborger is actually a searcher for your grade 3s. Just counter plus 1, put it inside your soul. Look up to 5 card, get a grade 3. If not, you have none. Yep. So currently that's all for Royal Paladins, and I'm going to show you Blaster Dark, what Blaster Dark does. He's a 9k attacker, right? But the skills are totally different, so I go to grade 2. Yep. So Blaster Dark is actually also something like a chain, right? But when you chain them up, you gain additional power, which is permanent. But if you do not have something inside your soul, it will just be a 9k. So for this card, it's only work for Vanguard, sadly, but it's good. Blaster Blade is good for Rearguard and Vanguard. Blaster Dark is good that he can retire anything on the field, but he must be in the Vanguard. Still counter blast 2, and this card can be in Royal Paladin decks. So yeah. So basically I kind of covered Royal Paladin mechanisms, but I'm going to tell you guys right now that what I like about Royal Paladin and what I dislike about Royal Paladin. Okay. Basically I like Royal Paladin because it makes the deck very easily fill up in field, right? Is also very good at adjusting with some mechanisms. You are not afraid of missing out a card or two during the gameplay, because there's a lot of cards that you can summon it out from your deck. Through your deck, you're playing with your deck, right? So summoning from there is actually the good thing in Royal Paladin. But what I dislike about Royal Paladin is that their costs, you know, they are very heavy in cost, very limited counter blast that you can use during a game, but it's hardly have you know, those flipping over your counter blast right now. Very limited because you need a lot of cards in the deck. It's very card dependent, you know. It depends on the field to gain powers. It depends on how are you going to do, is the timing right, and so on. But this is really very high counter blast use, and I don't really like to use Royal Paladin due to this issue, because counter blasting 2 most of the cards, or counter blast 3, is really taking up a lot of resources there. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. All these opinions are based on my own opinions. No hard feeling for those who really like Royal Paladin. Please don't be offended, because this is what I think Royal Paladins works, and it doesn't work for my playstyle. I truly sorry, but all decks have their pros and all decks have their downs, right? So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed it. Do like the video if you like the video, and do let me know which clan that you want me to, you know, recommend next, or either what pro and cons you need to know more. Just put it in the comment down below and just let me know, right? So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be yourself, never be someone else, and peace out. Bye.